Hello, it's ChewDog Charts. For the last 40 years, most people believe the stock market always went up. Simply buy and hold long enough, and you could sit back and watch the money accumulate in your account. No thought or hard work needed. It was a great strategy until this strategy burned most investors in 2008. Nearly a decade later, the investors have scars that last to today. And that's even after the stock market has rallied 271% since the bottom in March of 2009. Today, only about half of Americans are invested in the stock market. The rest are in cash or on the sidelines. In a June 2017 Fortune survey, 71% of the respondents said that the economic system is rigged. It's rigged in favor of certain groups. Well, they're not wrong. And it's called dark money. Let's take a look. This information comes from a recent article by Nomi Prinz, and I've edited the article for brevity. Dark money is the number one secret life force of today's rigged financial markets. It drives whole markets up and down. It's the reason for today's financial bubbles. On Wall Street, knowledge of and access to dark money means trillions of dollars per year flowing in and around global stock, bond, and derivative markets. I learned this firsthand from my career in Wall Street. My first full year working on Wall Street was in 1987. I wasn't talking about dark money or central bank collusion back then. I was just starting out. Eventually, I would uncover how the dark money system works, how it has corrupted our financial system, and encouraged greed to the point of crisis like in 2008. The dark money comes from central banks. In essence, central banks print money or electronically fabricate money by buying bonds or stocks. They use other tools like adjusting interest rate policy and currency agreements with other central banks to pump liquidity into the financial system. The dark money goes to the biggest private banks and financial institutions first. From there, it spreads out in seemingly infinite directions, affecting different financial assets in different ways. Yet, these dark money flows stretch around the world according to a pattern of power, influence, and of course, wealth for select groups. To be part of the dark money elite means to have control over many. How elite is a matter of degree. But this is not built upon conspiracy theories. To the contrary, alliances make perfect sense and operate publicly. Even better, their exclusive dealings and the consequences that follow are foreseeable, but only if you understand how the system works and follow the dark money. So let's follow the money and look at our first chart. Unfortunately, the charts only show information from 2009 through 2013. However, in some of my previous videos, I've shown you where central banks across the globe have been printing money all the way through the current date. So I think this information here is symptomatic even up to today's date. And this chart here shows the Fed balance sheet and the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is here in the dark or blue colored line. And this is a weekly chart since mid-2009. And then the Fed balance sheet is shown here in the red. And you can see that the correlation is striking. It continues from 2009 all the way to 2013. So as you can imagine, I think the correlation will continue into 2017. So let's look at the next dark money chart from Japan. Now, before getting into this chart, I'd like to remind you that I recently completed a video on the Bank of Japan, where the Bank of Japan has purchased up to about 75% of all ETF stocks in the Japanese market. So here to this chart, we can see Bank of Japan. The balance sheet is here in the dark color or blue, moving up through this level here. At the same time, the Nikkei 225 is in the red, moving up and down through this period here, and then up into the current levels. Now the correlation is not as good as shown by the Fed and the S&P 500. However, one can imagine that this is just not a coincidence. So let's take a look at the next chart showing the Bank of England. And this last chart shows the Bank of England versus the FTSE 100, where the balance sheet for the Bank of England is here shown in the blue or dark color, moving up through this level, while in the red is the FTSE 100 index, following along in a general similar direction. I don't think this chart needs any further commentary. And then Nomi Prinz states that to invest profitably in financial markets, you need to understand the hidden power relationships that drive financial and political events. Ideologies and personal associations among elites are oblivious to political party lines and international boundaries. And so is dark money. So for now, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.